welcome back. Today's going to be a pretty random all over the place video. 3 different, very different art projects going on. Hopefully you'll enjoy them. Radiator, let's go. So, see this picture? I did this about 3 years ago, like 2017, 2018, when I was just getting into watercolours. I think it was the second watercolour landscape I'd ever done. And as you saw, the tree was very bulky. So I saw those branches. So I decided to try to do a redraw or repaint its watercolour. I think one thing that was really helpful this time was having the right brushes. Before I tried to use one really thick brush to do everything with. I guess it's just lack of experience. I just get stuck on one brush for ages. But this time I'd got the brushes that I'd shown you in the last video. I was using them and they're much thinner, and then some of the ones that were on an angle were really helpful for getting those fine lines. I think my patience levels have just like increased a lot as well, to just be able to do those small details. I guess it just comes from practice, like especially all of those tiny little leaves on the trees and those rushes. I was doing a lot more individual lines and not just getting impatient and being like, oh, I can't do that, I need to just slap on some stuff. So you can see that this contrast between the original and my redraw. I think I've improved. What do you think? Have you got any comments or thoughts about the comparison, the contrast between these two paintings? By the way, the places of Emo, it's a photo of Emo Court. This is a photo of the reference picture I used. Well, actually, it's sort of enhanced. The second time round, this time, I sort of adjusted the colours in the, editing photo area so that it would look better, because it was quite a grey day that the photo was taken on. So I'd say that helped as well, sort of changing the reference a bit to make the drawing better. It's a really lovely place to go and walk, and actually it was designed by an architect called James Gandon, who I'm studying for Leaving Cert Art at the moment. I'll hopefully be putting out a video soon enough about Leaving Cert Georgian architecture in Ireland. So keep an eye out for that. All you Leaving Cert students, it'll probably be a bit chaotic because it's following my learning process, not entirely made to be educational to other people, but hopefully there'll be a few things, fun way of studying. So this video here is, I missed out the first part of me filming this, I think. I don't know where the footage went. But this was a bit of a step up for me with the old acrylic painting sunsets. I've been working pretty small up until now, and this is probably a bit bigger than A4. I mean, I used to have no problem doing huge canvases, but recently, I don't know, I haven't been feeling quite so brave. So this is pretty big compared to what I've been doing recently. But I really enjoyed how it turned out, and in the process, it was much more wild than the other ones I've been doing recently. So I think this is it for tonight. This is my second session working on it. I really like, there's a nice, not harshness, rawness to it, like especially down here, that I was really liking. So I think I'm going to carry on with that, try not to be too like precious with brush strokes and stuff like that. It's a nice look, I think. You probably saw I was using a palette knife a lot to get a bit of texture in it and to really lay down the colours thick. I really like this section here, probably because I was really focusing on trying to do that kind of slightly more abstract and flat section of colour, and I do really like that look, so I need to try to focus in on that a bit more. I really enjoy like the texture here as well. A lot of it is being literally just created with the texture of the palette knife and pushing some of it into clumps instead of me having to, like in some of my other ones, go around really carefully and create those tide marks on the beach. So looking forward to carrying on with this. Putting in the horizon line really added that depth and that pop that the picture needed. I'm putting in those tiny little lights of the town. There's just a few tiny white dots. It's funny how something that small can just really take it up. Something I learned from this is that to get that nice look is to really load the brush. I mean, just not to have the paint quite so thin, which is something fun in sketchbooks, when you're just watering stuff down a lot. But on a thing like this, it's nice to really get that thick acrylic paint on the clouds and the things building up on top. Though it's good like in the first layer when you've just got that first gradient to have it quite thin, so then it can be built upon. And something I learned as well is not to overwork the ocean. Just let it be the gradient that it was. This will be on Etsy at some point. I'll post it on my Instagram when I upload it to be for sale. It'll take a little while to get all that sorted. So what do you think of this one? Anyway, the next thing that I'm doing is using up the paint on my palette from that painting, because I hate wasting paint that's left on my palette, especially if there's quite a bit, and there's quite a bit of dark blue left. So I did these 20s pictures. Went on Pinterest and just found a load of pictures. The hair was so fun to do on these. All those really soft curls, really defined curls, waves were really fun to do. And the fur, I really love creating that contrast with that woman, like the pale skin against a really dark backdrop. And what this did in limiting me with what colours I could use, because I was just using all the paint on my palette, I wasn't putting out any new paint for this. It was really fun. And, you know, I got a load more pages filled in my sketchbook too. Yeah, unlike anything I'd done before. It's a really good thing to try, just using up whatever paint's left on your palette. It makes me feel better about the paint, and then it also, you know, limitations lead you to be more creative, and because it was only the paint left on the palette, it made a really nice cohesive page spreads. I didn't film these ones, but I really like that girl in the fur and the fringe and like the headband and her hair, everything about it. I just really enjoyed it. But what led to all of these was this painting I did on this page before of this 20s looking woman who was a use up the paint on the palette drawing, who was in turn inspired by these little women, 20s women that I'd painted, just sketched one evening. It's cool how things inspire other things. So that's it. Really hope you enjoyed the artwork in this video, as random as it was, and have a great week. Bye. Oh, also, make sure to like and subscribe if you want to see more of this content. Bye!